And so with procedural sound design, yeah, let's have a look at SimCell in a sec. But in this case, one of the things that's really powerful about using procedural sound design is that each playback can be different. And yes, you can do this with a pile of samples, but the neat thing is within procedural sound design is that you can actually make those sounds so that they get controlled by parameters and bend them. So if you think of the game as kind of like this thing that's constantly evolving and responding to player input, and you have static, like just samples that have been recorded elsewhere and just play back from start to end, then the thing is that they're not going to be able to mold to the curves and changes in the game. So that's a real big advantage of using procedural sound design. It's difficult because it requires a lot of extra implementation to get it to work, but the possibilities for it are really cool, and I think you'll get a better idea once I show you. So procedural sound design, you can combine samples, effects, and synthesizers. So synths are synthesizing sound in real time, usually from mathematics. So like you can think of synths where you play a sawtooth wave or something like that, and you can change the pitch or change the distortion and stuff like that. So the nice thing about using synthesis is that you can have low disk space and it also take up less RAM space usually. But the problem often is that it's sort of high CPU. So what you'll want to do is often balance those kind of concerns between samples and pre-recorded sounds, and then like live or generated sounds, synthesized sounds. Okay, let's have a look at that.
So the way that the music changes with response to the game, the different gameplay sort of possibilities through scenes. So here, we can make it sound like you're being attacked by a virus. All right, so we changed to the reverb, violin sound, and it's all scary, right? And it also changes the notes as well, right? And then I can go back again to the original scene. So you can see that it's a smooth transition. Alright, so this sort of purple back chunk in the middle here is where the notes get sequenced, and I can change the way that the patches are changed here from the scene changes. So if I look at different, these are the different layers that go out here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? All the notes there. So this one here would go out to instrument number 1. All right, so switching over to the sound design for SimCell. This is an overview of the patch that is used to generate all the sound design, right? All sorts of great stuff there to do with cells. And every single sound has an intensity slider that goes from 0 to 1. From low intensity all the way up to high intensity. So on this one, the high is 1, so it makes the gate open slower. Right? And then intensity 0, faster. Okay, and if we look inside the patch, we can see that basically it's just a noise waveform that gets sort of sampled and held. So in other words, I'm changing like the sampling rate basically, and it goes through a filter here. And the envelope of the filter changes over time. And then I turn this patch off when it's no longer being used to save on CPU. So over here, these are the interface sounds, and I used a 303 to simulate those. So, alright, so I'm just changing patch values, and that's all that's going on. Rollover. So yeah, and that's what it looks like on the inside. It's all the patch changes and stuff.
All right, so yeah, hopefully that gives a better idea of how this stuff actually works. I hope that demos work well, and you can check out a longer video online, and all the say like I have that linked. Say if you click on like overview here, then that'll take you to the YouTube video for that. So this talk has all those links embedded in it, which is kind of fun. So it's called the Generative Audio System for SimCell or something like that. Okay. One of the things about SimCell is unfortunately that the CPU was so high because we're making it for high school students that were using these Android tablets, and unfortunately the Android tablets were really underpowered, so I ended up having to flatten all my audio out from like, real-time synthesis stuff into just samples. So, that's the way it sometimes goes for video games. So sad. All right, and then let's have a look at another example here. This one's a demo that I made to really feature and highlight the use of synthesis. This uses the Tanks Unity demo project, and it has both sound effects and music in it. And this example, you wouldn't necessarily do this with a commercially released game, so I actually have PD running separately from Unity, and then I use Open Sound Control to communicate and talk between the two. And so Open Sound Control is kind of like MIDI, but you can pass all sorts of different messages, and it's sort of more for internal communication, but you can also use it for controllers and stuff like that as well. And the great thing about this project is that you can download the whole thing and experiment with like over 20 different patches on our website. So just go to the top of that and then you can try it out. Let's have a quick listen to that.